Hood postman, city, hood, click. Let's go.
Be very careful who you talk to, because you'll never know who the informant is, who the cooperating witness may be, and you never know somebody who was a friend today may have been flipped the night before and become your enemy tomorrow.
About humanity, putting truth in these lines while they busy feeding lies. When you got that tunnel vision, gotta open up your eyes. Wake up and go to sleep. Man, I'm praying all times. And to my guys, ain't no other side. This for my brothers, I'ma pray with y'all shine. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Yeah, you already know.
Depending on the lessons, some people eat, some people learn. But the game is going to send you a big.
Lock the door. Shout out to the Mailroom Nation and the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Mill, the Hood Postman. Be sure to click that notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment down below so when this dope content hit, it'll feel like the first and the 15th. Welcome to the Mailroom. You come in, take a look at your mind, and examine what's in your heart. Before they had handguns, they had hand guys. Man up. You can go anywhere in the world and get a couple of lies, but you come right here to get the truth. This is not a glorification or it's glamorization. It's always education. It's always, can I learn you something? Can I teach something? Can I correct records? Can I also set where people come in and try to articulate Crip history, or Pyru history, blood history, Hoover history? They have sometimes people get out over their boundaries and step over their grounds where they really don't know what the heck they're talking about. And today we come here to talk about Crip, confused individual out of Texas. He is utterly Crip confused. Let's get into it. Shout out to the Mailroom Nation. Let me just everybody say, shout out to Marlena Williams, Aldridge, what's going on? Red Diablo, what's going on? Train Root, what's happening, man? What's going on with your champ? I lost you for a minute. Train, what's been happening, man? Good to see you back in the mailroom. And everybody else that's joining us, man. Percy has too many brothers in other stress who represent that. First, let me help the brother out, because the brother has, I believe, he has a mental decline. He's cognitively dissident. He's disconnected from whatever he's trying to explain. First and foremost, he made a couple of statements in there that we're gonna address who he really is. To me, he reminds me of the Martian. Marvin the Martian off of Bugs Bunny. And let me introduce you who Marvin the Martian off of Bugs Bunny is so you guys can get it. And we're going to make this fun today. We're not going to get on him too hard, but we're going to have to at least provide context and be able to understand why individuals like him, because here's the thing, Real Tunes, right, has become, I guess, sort of like Looney Tunes, because when you look at this brother, first of all, let me say this. He called himself OG Percy, right? I don't even call myself that, and I'm 66 years old. Young people might say, "What's up, OG?" But you'll never hear me say that I'm OG Melly Mel. So on and so. I won't do that because I understand what OG is. OG is somebody who is the original creator of something. Raymond Lee Washington is the original creator of Crip. Then Mac Thomas created Compton Crip. Whether it's Melvin Hardy or Stanley Tookie Williams, they represent the West Side. You'll get two different ideologies off the West. Whether it's Melvin Hardy, I rock with them both. Melvin Hardy and both Stanley Tookie Williams. So this guy, he took out his time today, and this is let me just give you a glimpse of what he had to say so we can get into this really closely. Here he goes.
What's your thoughts on the Californian response?
I don't have no California response. Never been. I don't have nothing to say to California Crips. I ain't get my cripping from no California. That's number one. They got their cripping from us. Yeah. Stanley Tookie Williams, Shreveport, Louisiana, down south. Yeah, he took cripping to Cali. How y'all think y'all got on? See, I hate when they bring. I'm glad. I'm first of all, for the record, no, I don't gang bang and I don't rep crip or none of that shit. I'm a grown man. I put away my childish.
Okay, let's get into that. That's perfect right there, right? He said that Stanley Tookie Williams took cripping from Louisiana and took it to LA. First and foremost, if you did your research, you know Stanley Tookie Williams was born in 1953. He left Louisiana going to Los Angeles at 6 years old. He left going to Los Angeles in 1959, 10 years before Crips even exists. So somewhere along the line, I don't know where you get confused at, but maybe as I observed the video, you look very fidgety. You wasn't uncomfortable, and you sitting there, you dressed up like a whole Crip. And you said that you didn't get your cripping from Los Angeles. I'm a little confused at that, Percy. You're not, I'm Marvin the Martian or confused cripping. You got three different definitions that's going to define you today and who you really are, because you said Stanley Tookie Williams at the age of 6 years old took cripping from Louisiana to Los Angeles. He was born in 1953. He came to Los Angeles in 1959. That's 10 whole years before Crips were even introduced or anybody even knew who they were. Crips came about by Raymond Lee Washington in 1969, before Tookie even knew what it was. Tookie got a hold of it 70, 71, maybe 70. Well, let's say 71, 72. We'll say 71. Give him 71. West Side. So therefore, bro, I don't know how you came up with that analysis or that conclusion, but you obviously wrong. Opinions are just like buttholes. They all stink. But when you get on these internet and you claim certain things, you have to be did some research. You have to look at the data, the statistics, the science, and understand what is the language out there. You cannot give history if you're in your 50s and you're trying to give 1969 history. You can't do it. It's not going to work. I have met many of people, right, that I met along the way, like 85, 86, 87, that try to speak to the history. It's impossible for them to know anything about the 70s, because before they even thought about it, I was already done with it. So if I'm there in 72 and I'm seeing this Voltron, these Autobots, and all these individuals come together, whether it's Blood, whether it's Crip, whether it's Pyru, there's Hoovers, whatever the case may be. Observable reality. I'm looking at it. I'm directly standing right there in front of it. Saw it come together. Saw the individuals come in the park, run down the lines, get put on. I saw all that. I'm not giving you something that somebody else told me, or I just put two and two together. No, this is observable reality. I was there. I don't have to give you this kabuki theater side of it. So if Stanley Tookie Williams was born in 1953 and he left Louisiana in 1959, that made him 6 years old, Percy. You're not an OG. You just like the term and you figure you can associate it with your name or whatever, however that came out. That's fine. Do what you want with that. But I'm giving you the true definition of what an OG is. It's someone who created something or invented something. That's what it stands for. Original. Original. Are you the creator of Fort Worth Crips? Did you start them? Real tune. You put Percy on there. Percy may need to go into rehab because he was fidgety. He couldn't be still. And before he came out with that answer, you could tell he was like, he really didn't know what to say. And he just let anything that's come out of his mouth. And then he really looked bad saying what he was saying. But this is why I can relate to him in this manner right here. Let's go.
Pardon me again, Doc, but just what did you mean by that crack about the Earth being gone?
Oh, I'm going to blow it up. It obstructs my view of Venus.
That, my friends, that is Marvin the Martian off of Bugs Bunny. Looney Tunes, not real tunes. Looney Tunes. That's what we're dealing with. A lot of individuals come on these internets, come on these platforms, come on the virtual reality, and they sitting wherever they sitting. They can spin any narrative, any story. And then certain people who doesn't like to read, who doesn't like to do research, who doesn't like to follow the science of anything, they'll just believe it because they follow trends and they follow who they like. It has nothing to do with the truth. The truth is not even in it. They don't care about the truth because it sounds good to them and it's coming from somebody that they like, you know. Raymond Lee Washington started the Crips in 1969. That makes him the OG. That makes him the originator. Now, I know there's a lot of people that call themselves OG this, OG that. That's fine. I don't have no problem with that. It's just me per se. Professor Melly Mill, I'm not going to tell you I'm OG Melly Mill. I'm not. Because I didn't create the Crips. Nor did I start it. Nor did I create Oaks Park. Nor did I create Santana. So I'm not the original creator of whatever that is. Whatever that element is or what entity is. I did not create it. Now, I was a part of it. I was there. I saw it come together. I know the nuts and bolts, the inner workings of it. I know all the individuals that made it possible. Just like when I look at the Pyrus, I can look at them and give you a full assessment just based on observable reality and also just being accountable for the knowledge that I might be holding and not necessarily because what's going to happen is because I'm going to go line for line. I'm going to go individual for individual, and I'm going to go all the way back to when Salty got murdered. And I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you the individuals that was in the car. I'm going to tell you the individuals that snitched. So it may be some people that become discomfortable or uncomfortable with what I'm saying because they'll be quick to say, movie star told. But they won't tell you that Icky told, and they won't tell you that Puddin told. Telling is equal opportunity. There's telling on all sides, all kind of individuals. I'm talking about, you see some of the The killers. I'm talking about dudes that they perceive to be killers. Sometimes they tell quicker than the dudes that you think that's mild, meek, and scary. You cannot judge books by their covers. You can't. You gotta open up the book and look inside and read the pages to understand where the book is going, what it's about, the events, time and place, circumstances, situations. It's always the people. It's never the place. It's never the event. It's never the circumstance. It's the people. Always. So we're real tuned because let's call it clickbait. Because he got great numbers off of Percy saying what he said. And then he got countless of people coming on here addressing that very situation. Because to me, he was Crip confused. He's saying that he don't like Crip or whatever. He's saying he's no longer, but he's sitting up there dressed looking like one. Maybe the colors was a little off key, but just if you look at his attire, that's how, when California gangster dudes, if you go back and look when I was at sports wedding, you go look at how they was dressed. They dressed like him. Just the color of the clothing is different, but they dressed like him. Every Sunday, I remember the Main Street Mafias, Dill Dog and Wood and all the different people that used to be with them, man, they would go to church and then show up on the shawl, dressed suited and booted, just like gangsters, like mafia type gangster, because they really carried that mafia mentality. They went to church, they congregated together, they ate together, they did everything together, they sang on the shawl together after church. Suited, booted, knotted and tied. So when I see Percy saying what he's saying, but here's the thing, right? Let me give Texas some credit. Let me give Texas some credit. The word cuz come from Texas. How do you know, Melly? In the early 60s, 63, 64, 65, 66, my dad used to eat at a cafe. If you guys know, it was Eat After Dark. Before it was Eat After Dark, it was Jeffy's. All that little whole corner was called Jeffy's. Jeffy's owned all that. So it was a nice little breakfast spot. All the dudes from Texas, whether you was from Lubbock, whether you was from Corpus Christi, whether you was Waco, whether you was from Dallas, whether you was from Houston, whether you was from Austin, whether you was from El Paso, everybody from Texas called each other cuz. That's where the word come from. Shout out to Texas for that. That's where the word come from. Everybody from Texas, because there were so many people that was migrating from Texas to California during the 60s because of the industrial. There was Uniroyal, there was Firestone, there was Goodyear, there was General Motors, there was Alcoa, there was Jurgensen Steel. The super industrial was like, man, the foundry business, the iron business, the metal business was like booming. And everybody from the South came out here, even the ports. They moved, they migrated from the South and came to Los Angeles for these middle class jobs that was giving you a middle class living. You was able to afford a nice home. So all those guys that came from Texas, I remember it well. They didn't call each other by their name. Hey, cuz, what's going on, cuz? Because they was all from Texas. Even Jeffy's. They was all from Texas. They had the Lobby Inn, the Naughty Pine. What was some? Even Old Doodles back in. You guys start later on calling it Skateland. I remember Middleton's back porch as a kid. Was it Middleton's back where he used to get parties? Right there on the back streets by the Brickyard. I remember that way back. Lived on 135th in Avalon. I was right there when the riot kicked off on 116th in Avalon. So as a young mind, because all it is theater of the mind, I was filming. My eyes was filming this life experience. My eyes was taking and absorbing everything. And I'm just set up that way. That don't make me better, or that don't make me supernatural or anything. It's just that's just the way I'm set up. Way you set up is way you set up. And I'm an absorber. I'm a reader. I read and write. Fighting and shooting. You wind up in the graveyard in the penitentiary all the rest of your life. That's where you wind up, because you cannot overthrow, beat, or undermine this diabolical system. You can't. I don't care how tough you is. I don't care if you was Big U saying you beat up 37 Mexicans in the, you know that's not true. Why would you even accept that as a truth? When somebody say something ridiculous, whether it's Whack 100, Big U, Percy, or anybody, when they say something ridiculous, you got to call them out on it. Shout out to Big U for going per se. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to break that down. I'm going to tell you all the motions and all the briefs he need to file in behalf of pro se. Show calls. Eliminate. Jinx, Brady. Challenging and suppressing all evidence. Motion to dismiss. It's going to be just a plethora of emotions, because here's the thing. I don't want to mean to get off on this, but I got to say this right quick. A lot of the attorneys that they hire, when they've court appointed, right? These attorneys are usually getting $35, $40, $50, $60,000 per case. The government will put them on your case and pay them $2,500 or $3,500. Do you think you're gonna get a $65,000 job for $2,500 or $3,500? So you have the best interests of you better than I know me, or I have me better than anybody I know. I can hold my money better than anybody I know. I can count my money better than anybody I know. I can invest my money better than anybody. Matter of fact, I got things going on. I don't even discuss. It's just like when I hear people, even people from my own neighborhood talk, I just laugh at them. Because if I showed them, their whole attitude will change. Their chat. Like in the 70s, anybody could talk to me about the 70s is my homie Twin Gangster, Sag, Rockhead, my brother Rap, my brother Angelo, my brother Age, the homie Scrunchy, the homie D-Shot, definitely, because D-Shot is one of the founders of Oaks Park. IB, I'm Brooks, Tyke McClure, and there's a few others that can talk to me about the 70s. But the 99.1% don't know nothing about the 70s. They know about 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. They did their evaluation of where it started from or what it is from that point. They have no idea what happened in the 70s. But they base their thinking on, because, I was a tough guy in 85. I did this, I put work in. That's what you proud of? That you can probably say that you murdered or shot another black man? You actually proud of that? You want an award for that? You want a medal for that? Because let's be honest, if we took all the violence from it, we would just be social clubs, right? Whether it's Pyro, whether it's Crip, whether it's Hoover, whether it's Bishops, whether it's Bounty Hunters, whatever. We could just be social club. Why can't we just be black? LA people is not the toughest people in the world. They're tough people in DC, Milwaukee, Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Atlanta, Florida. There's tough people everywhere. There's going to be gangsters everywhere. But it's not what you do, it's how you do it. How do you How do you utilize it? Is it best to be superly known and everybody know your business? Or is it best to be behind the scene? Because if you really understand the mob, right? Let's get into that. If you really understand the mob wasn't big on revealing their secrets in their business. You just looked at them and put assessments on it and tried to put your personal opinion on who they based on just looking at them and seeing what they personified is, right? But you didn't know until Sammy the Bull came out and said, oh, I killed this many people. Da, 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 da. But he's a killer that told, right? So now we got to make this stuff. How do we make this stuff make sense? How do we continue to fall into the same rabbit hole, the same cycle? We listen to the same babbling idiots. It's nonsensical. They can't even string together two formal sentences. They can't. Not without cursing. Not without saying, you know what I mean? No, I don't know what you mean. I really don't. You're not saying anything. You haven't articulated one single thing that I can relate to. So when we come back to the Percy guy, right, who happens to be a pretty good person on the internet, as far as that goes, because the numbers speaks for it, because he's clickbait, and he could say these outrageous, like Whack 100, he could say these outrageous things, and people go over there and click on it, and he gets, a few dollars. So what makes him not go even step further? See, life is a game of boomerangs. Sooner or later, your actions, your behavior, and your disappointments and everything you ever done is going to come back to you with astounding accuracy. Do some good. Give yourself a chance. Get out your own way. Do something. Advance. Show you that you can be better than just this mentality. This whether it's verbal or nonverbal. The nonverbal is all the tattoos and all this stuff in your face and all that stuff. You want people to think that you're crazy, or you want people to believe that you somehow that you just ruthless dude, right? That's what you want to believe. Or you want people to believe. That's projecting. But while you're projecting your personality to a detriment. The detriment is that if a person is reserved and he's laid back and he's casually taking in your projection, you have no idea what they can do to you because they already see who you are. You're a fool. If you see me out and I'm arguing with somebody and he arguing with me, it'd be hard for you from a distance to tell which one of us is the fool. But if you see me just stand back with my arms crossed and I'm just kind of laid back because he's not putting his hands on me, he's not approaching me in an aggressive way, just verbalizing some stuff, then you'll know who the fool is. I tell you all the time, guys, the tiger and lion may be more powerful, but you ain't never seen a wolf perform in a circus. Never. So understand the difference. Understand the nature of what the internet is really about. It's virtual. It's virtual. It may be confrontational. It may be lies. It's exaggeration. There's some people that come on here that deliver the truth. Now, if I get into the whys and the do's and I start telling stories about how these individuals, if I get on the booty bandits and I tell you who they are, if I go down Megan's list and I tell you all the individuals that I know that's on Megan's list, then everybody say, oh man, he tripped. But that's what you want. You want that because you think that somehow that, but because it's going to take away from the person that you believed in. There's a lot of dudes in there, man, that had boyfriends in them jailhouses. And now they're at home walking around with women in plain sight, pretending like that part of their life ended because they left jail. No, that's what you did, partner. Now, whether I choose to talk about it or release that information, that's up to me. But, I'm not here to cause nobody no heartache, discomfort, confusion. I don't want to complicate anybody's life. But if you come after me or you say some things that I feel that maybe we need to have a internet discussion, because obviously you see me outside, he's never had nothing to say, but he get on the internet and got something to say, so it's just ridiculous to me. It's just ridiculous. Big Bitch, what's happening, man? That's my guy from Vegas right there. You guys go follow his channel. Great individual. I met him and his wife and his son. Beautiful people. When I go to Vegas, they welcome me. I've been out there, man. We sat out there and chopped it up. Man, Big Mitch right there, man. Y'all check him out, man. Go check his channel out. Terrell. Shout out to Terrell, man. Just an awesome individual. Matter of fact, his mother-in-law ran Vegas. Let him tell you that story. That lady right there, she was somebody out there. And that's real talk right there. Let's see who we got in here. King Mike, what's going on? JRL, hey Melly, what's going on? What's going on with you, champ? So I figured out how to see the comments again, I guess. Dominique, what's happening? Antonio, what's going on with you, bro? God's property. God, there you go. There she go. God's property. That's what I want to see. Shout out to God's property. We want to keep her in our prayers, and we want to keep lifting her up. She's a very good individual. Will help anybody. Cook her butt off. Been through a lot with her sister. Her sister, she just recently lost her sister. And, I took the time out to call her, to talk to her. We talk all the time, Good friend, God's property, man. Your parents' party, that Jeff Dees? Yeah, Jeff Dees was the spot. See, people, when you start bringing up, when I start bringing up the spots like the Naughty Pine, the Jeff Dees, and the Lobby Inn was right there on 120th and Avalon, the Bucket of Blood. Can you imagine Johnny Taylor, Joe Tex, let's see, Sam Cooke, and all these individuals that used to perform in these little cabarets? Because all up and down Central, definitely the corridor, all these little cabarets, nightclubs, all these individuals frequent. They were there, right there with the people. They went on this stuff that you see these guys on now. Now, most of these guys don't even know what music is. They don't read bass clef or treble clef. They don't know that bass clef is one octave lower than the treble clef. They don't know how to read eighth notes, whole notes, half notes, 16, 30 seconds. They don't know nothing. They don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about chords, metronomes. They don't know anything about that. All they know how to do is sample a beat from maybe some Big Joe Turner off some 78 albums, and probably a lot of you don't even know what that is, but they got these albums. I remember Big Mama Thornton, Joe Turner, 60 Men in Mass. They were some very, very old albums. The speed on the album plate was 78. You go sample, they would sample. That's what a lot of these guys did. These guys that came up in hip hop, they start sampling these and put them on, and they made their music and they rap over it, And I understand technology. I understand that technology has advanced more in the last 50 years than it has in the last 5,000 years. Just where we at. But at the same time, I know I know the difference between, you know, having a horn section, a string section, percussions, and keys. I know all that. You know, I actually went to the Cannonball Adderley Institution of Music at UCLA. So I just didn't follow up because my mind was caught up in other things. You know, I was a trombonist, man. I wanted to be like Wayne Henderson, Fred Wesley, you know. But I read both treble and bass clef music. A lot of people don't know that about me, but I'm just sharing a little bit. But that just show you that my mind is that of somebody who wants to absorb, who wants to learn. I don't want to just sit around like a bump on a log and listen to somebody on the internet spew lies. So Percy, you get on here, you Crip confused, brother. You talking about Stanley Tookie Williams took Crippin from Louisiana and brought it to Los Angeles. If Stanley Tookie Williams was born in 1953, go Google it. It's easy, Google searchable. And he came to Los Angeles with his mom in 1959. That made him 6 years old, bro. 6. Some odd 10 years later, Crip came about. So how do you explain the 10-year gap? And then when you say that Tookie created the Crip, you're wrong. You obviously didn't know about Raymond Lee Washington, who created the Crips in 1969. Mac Thomas started the Compton Crips, who was already a Crip with Raymond Lee Washington, Mac Thomas, before Tookie. Tookie, there's a lot of people in the West that won't give it to Tookie. They give it to Melvin Hardy. I'm not here to debate that. I like them both because I was around Tookie. Tookie was at the Red House. Tookie was right smack dead in my neighborhood. I saw him daily. Saying nothing, I'm just telling you, I saw him daily. Ace dudes pull down, matches going around, earring hanging, one strap on with the overalls in the big comeback booth. Muscles popping out everywhere. Jumping out his car. If you seen him, just seeing him, you was already intimidated. He had a look that you just didn't want to if you was just, if you just really wasn't really super confident in your skills and what you can do, you was not finna run up on Tookie. Not without a gun. So most of the shooting started because of the bullyism and the fights and the dudes and the multitude of dudes, because they said Crips don't die, they only multiply. So there was way more Crips than anti-Crips. So the anti-Crips had to figure out, how can we be stronger? They created the term blood. The term blood, we talked about the term cuz, right? Cuz strictly came from Texas. Shout out to Texas for donating cuz. The term blood came from Vietnam. The veterans in Vietnam referred to each other as young blood. They brought it home. That's how the Green Jackets got it over the Nickersons, and they took it and put it together with the Bonnaroo, and then they cut off the young blood and called each other bloods. What's up, blood? That created the groove, that created the camaraderie, and that gave them the essence to Voltron up and Autobot up and become a unit. That's how that happened. Whether you was Brim, whether you was Bishop, whether you was Pyru, whether you was Outlaw, whether you was Swan, whether you was Inglewood family. The term blood became the endearment, it became the glue that pulled all those brothers together. And when you look at the bartender, regardless of what anybody feel or don't feel about the bartender was an ambassador for all that. Icky Dawson is the one that LaVelle Icky Dawson. He's the one that LB, Tam, and Lil Vince met. in order to connect that east side, because there's no Pyru Street on the east side. Pyru Street run from Willowbrook all the way back over to the 135s, through Fruittown, from Willowbrook to Fruittowns, to the west side to the 135s, and it ends there. So that's when the Pyru started being Pyru Street Boys to actually being an identity. Because if you go look up the word Pyru and see what it means. Have you ever done that? It is some type of, there's Lake Pyru up by Ventura. Then it has something to do with weaving baskets. Don't quote me on that, but go look it up. See, when you get into something, if you don't know the fundamentals, or you don't know the travel, the route to why it is what it is or where it came from, then you fundamentally lost. You have no business being a part of it. That's why you don't see Professor Melly Mel joining no motorcycle clubs. I love the car clubs, because when I go to car clubs, I never see nobody walk around with guns and pulling guns on each other. At least I don't see it. It may be, but I've never seen it. First of the year, I go to Majestic's annual picnic every year without fail. But these motorcycle clubs, these dudes walking around, they wearing these patches, claim they might be rare breed, they might be just pound, and they might be gorilla this or whatever the patch might see. But the moment one of them Negroes get mad, then they gonna go back to being Hoover, they gonna back to Pyru, they go back to Prim, they go back to Bishop, they gonna go back to being wherever they neighborhood from, and then it becomes complicated. But you know, don't mind me just watching. So when I start telling the truth on these situations, people don't want to. They don't want to hear it, because they want to be in the motorcycle club. They want to be. I don't go to motorcycle clubs. Do what you like with that. That's not a necessity for me. That's not something of importance. My grandchildren, my children, my family, and all, that's what's important to me. You know, if I can't make it to something, then so be it. I want to give a big shout out to my boy Sparks from Raymond. Him and his wife just had a beautiful ceremony. A beautiful ceremony, man. And officiated by a pastor named Rhino. He called himself Rhino. He was a Navy SEAL. I listened. Rhino said, man, he ain't had no fights because he a murderer. The government taught him about it, but I listened to, I was interested in his story. Hopefully I could sit down with Rhino and talk to him about a little bit about that. But anyway, Sparks had amazing. I met his brother Lavelle, aka Scrooge. Lala was there from 6 Deuce. Bird was there from 111. Big O'Neill was there from. I'm talking about generals. Was at this wedding. An amazing ceremony. LaRue was there. Baby Crazo was there. A lot of different people was there. A lot of different people. Big Wheel from UG Underground. Whack from Underground. I'm just going through the assortment of people that I shook hands and was sitting at the table chopping it up, taking pictures with. Just a bunch of them. Big Dale, what's happening, man? And then when I saw Slim from Payback, I said, oh, man, hey, come on. I ain't seen Slim. Last time I seen Slim, honestly, up front with me being in his presence, he being my president, had to be 81, 82. Last time I seen Slim. Slim still look good, Slim. And then I met Taco was there too. Taco, I forgot about Taco. So you had just a lot of different people that came from this experience that are now, and how can I forget my guy Bull? Big Bull from the Abalone. Big Bull from the Abalone, How can I forget him, So when you round these people, generally good people who have an aura about them, but also have an education level that supersedes most of this stuff that y'all hear on this. And I'm talking about super IQs. You talking about these dudes? You're talking about dudes that spend 40 years and anywhere from 20 to 40 years in prison. Read tons of books, very knowledgeable, write book reports, understand the language, understand where we at and how we got there. Got a deep understanding. This is, and all you want to do is listen when they start talking. You don't want to talk, just listen. Let them talk. Because if you're fortunate enough to be there to hear that conversation, they're going to learn you something. And they're going to learn you something that, don't do it, Mel. They're going to learn you something that you never would have thought you would have heard. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, God's property, because here's the thing. I'm inspired by God. Anything I do is inspiration. It's that word is my lamp to my feet and a light to my path. If I'm looking at it, if I'm saying it correctly. And I'm not here to oust anybody or make anybody feel uncomfortable, but what I'm saying is that let me be. Let me cook. Now, however I cook, because my cooking going to involve positive words, it's going to pop affirmations, it's going to be encouragement, it's going to be good, be safe. Give yourself a chance to advance and do something different. Don't be in your own way. Be smart. Increase in intellect, wisdom, and knowledge and understanding. But understand that we have to progress. We have to move forward. We can't just keep looking in the rear view. We can't keep doing the same things in these neighborhoods around us, surrounding neighborhoods, and expect a different result. And then as what they call quote unquote OGs, some of y'all apathetic. You're apathetic. You are afraid to disrupt the life that you got, but you created such a storm growing up. But now you don't want to even acknowledge it. Yes. I don't know what to say about that. So how do you give back? What do you do to sleep at night? You take what they call it, no-dose or something. You got to take something to sleep better. Because I'm sure there's got to be some concerns, some worries, something on your heart, something on your mind. Your heart and mind is in conflict. John, what's happening? Shout out to Melly Mail, the mailroom postmaster general. They own you. G. Lou, what's happening, man? Yeah, so when we listen to people like this guy that called himself OG Percy, he's not an OG because he didn't create it. He didn't create Fort Worth Crip. Now, I'm not for sure that he didn't do it. I'm that's speculative on my part. But if he did do it, then I owe him an apology. But if he didn't, he's not an OG because he didn't create nothing. That's proxy. When you self-label something, that's it. He gave him a title that's by proxy. That's like patting yourself on the back, grandstanding for yourself, but not really putting in the work or the commitment, or do you have the accolades or the mental gymnastics or the testicular fortitude or the physicality to be in the circle that you're speaking on or say the things that you say? Because if you would have known better, you would have never said they took him both cripping from Louisiana to Los Angeles at 6 years old. It's a simple Google search. Tookie, born in 1953, left Louisiana with his mom, came to Los Angeles in 1959, 10 years before cripping. And for Looney Tunes, I mean real tunes, to put you on like that. Let me show people why I'm saying it, you know, because I don't want y'all to feel like I'm doing this. This is it's just crazy. Here it goes.
Pardon me again, Doc, but just what did you mean by that crack about the Earth being gone?
Oh, I'm going to blow it up. It obstructs my view of Venus.
That's Marvin the Martian off of Bugs Bunny. That's what Percy remind me of. Somebody that's completely off his rocker. Somebody that's stressed out, that has anxiety, that has is in cognitive decline. That's probably on just a multitude of pills. Because if you look at him, look at him right here.
What's your thoughts on the Californian response?
Look at his movement. Just watch his eyes. Watch his eyes. Look at his movement. He's trying to figure out what to say.
I don't have
He's sitting up there looking like this. Here you go. Watch it.
I don't have nothing to say to California Crips. I ain't get my cripping from no California. That's number one. They got their cripping from us. Yeah. Stanley Tookie Williams. Shreveport dudes down south. Yeah, he took cripping to Cali. How y'all think y'all got on? See, I hate when they bring. I'm glad. I'm first of all, for the record, no, I don't gang bang and I don't rip crip or none of that shit. I'm a grown man. I put away my childish.
If you don't gangbang, what we doing? You know, what are we doing? What are we doing? Am I wrong, chat? If I'm wrong, you guys jump in this chat right now and tell me, Professor Melly Mel, you wrong. Right now, I will accept it. I will apologize and move on, because here's the thing. It's the people. I don't determine what this content is going to be or not be. You guys determine that. I don't go back and look at it, watch it, or none of that. I say what I say and I get off. And then occasionally somebody will send me, hey, Mel, this person said it. I'm like, okay, well, that's how they feel. What can I say? Educate and elevate, man. DJ Maniac, what's happening, man? Oh, for the Hooves? I saw that. I didn't get into that. The HGs, the Hoovers, right? The young Hoovers got on his head. I saw that. You know. And they gonna explain their position. But one thing I like what they said, right? They said, we Hoovers first. Then everything else after. Whether you believe we Crips, criminals, or the orange rag or whatever, blue rag, we Hoovers first. First name Hoover, last name Crip. First name Hoover, last name criminal. They didn't say nothing wrong. They simply explained who they were. All these suckers are hiding in plain sight. You can listen to Sam Cooke all day, man. That's what's up. So yeah, guys, like I said, if you got anybody feel that I'm saying something wrong or I went too far or anything, I'm not gonna expose nobody. I just, sometimes I let them know though that I can. You know what I did when I was growing up, right? And I realized that there was people that was out there that was capable of doing harm or bodily injury, because I went to their schools. I went to Wayne, I went to the Mingus, who was predominantly blood schools. So how did I put protection on myself? Well, one of the things I did, I remember everybody's name. And then I started realizing where everybody lived at. Whether they knew I knew or not, that's none of their business. That's my business. So if that particular person decided to do something to me, I wasn't going to look for anybody that was connected to him or associated with him or his homeboy. I went to his house. That's why it's always smart to be strategic, to plan, and to think. Don't be reactionary. Do not be reactionary, because reaction is emotional and it's based on feelings. It's not rationale. It's not logic. RDL, what's happening, man? Cheap viewers on will remove the spaces. Yeah, well, that's true, Terrence. He is making a point, but he shouldn't have said it like that. He had the opportunity to frame it in a way, because in the reality of it, Tookie was 6 years old. Now we know that obviously he's a fan of Big Tookie, because a lot of people read Tookie's. They either read Master Cody's book or Tookie's book, and that's how they build their strategy. That's how they build their communities, their neighborhoods, based off them books. Some will admit it, others won't. I'm not even here for that. I don't care, But at the same time, that's what it is. Gosh, Robert said Percy lost his mind. You're right, guys, Robert. He have lost his mind. If you sit up there and watch him, you can tell that he might be going to go get him some substance abuse treatment. He just looked like something is going on deeper than what's there. Something. C Black. He's not confused. Well, if he's not confused, C Black, maybe you're confused, because obviously you're not looking at it from the perspective. I mean, because if you think about it, LA went to Texas, LA went to Oklahoma, LA went to all these different cities, and all these different cities decide for whatever reason to emulate that LA lifestyle. That's a fact. You can't take from that. Now, what you did with it is what you did with it. I don't care necessarily. But what I'm saying, if you're gonna represent it right. Say the true history. Don't make up your own history. If you want to be part of the historical facts of what it is of Crippin and Damuism and Paruzakiaism, if you want to be historically, factually correct, tell the story right. Don't make up stuff in your head. Don't become with this kabuki theater. Things that go bump in the night, goblins and ghosts and chains and things. Pirates of the Caribbean, Marvin, Martian, Leghorn, Foghorn off the Looney Tunes. Don't go there, because that's what it looks like to us. It looks real. He called them real tunes, but it looks like Looney Tunes to us. Now I understand, C Black, you want to protect that. That's fine, good. Ronald Green Jr., what's up? That's my guy. Lunatic, it's Lunatic nephew. Rest in peace, Lunatic. Brian Green. Now young blood came back from Vietnam, bro. That's where it came from. It was they really utilized it in Vietnam because of all the prejudice and all the different how the white boys was treating black soldiers over there. So they bound together, and the young blood was the glue to them sticking together. That's the real history of it. I don't tell you what I heard. I tell you what I know. I tell some more jokes. Like I say, I gave Texas credit for the word cuss, because that's where it's come from. I'm not afraid to give any state or anybody credit for what they did or their level of commitment or what they added to the gumbo pot. You can't not, you know what I mean? Bro, see, that's your problem, bro. You want to talk about how tough you are, how much more killing. Why is that so important when it comes to black people? CK is color man killing. BK is black man. Why is it so important to initiate how much killing is going on? Why is that so important? I don't celebrate killers. I don't have nothing to do with them. Although I may be around them, but they ain't walking around, yeah, I killed this person. I get away from that. And why you feel as a black man that killing is something important to the black community or somehow it helps them, it's ludicrous to me. Your ideology, you're flawed, brother. You might need to get you some therapy. Because if that's where you're going with this killing generation, look it up, it's way more killing than Fort. So what? Stop the killing. You're talking about genocide of people that's perpetuating their own genocide within their own culture. It's a psycho-philosophical vehicle of spiritual and intellectual enslavement that has 3 ends: undermine, underestimate, and undervalue, and marginalized. You're marginalizing us, brother. Why is that so important to you? To mention statistics about black people killing black people. You don't see how that is? That's functional retarded. Tell me about the engineers, the doctors, the nurses, the scholars, the architects. Tell me about those individuals. But see, because you want to take the worst of our community and put it in front of the best of our community. Tell me about the judges, the lawyers, the attorneys, the engineers. You want to talk about killing. Are you serious? This is not that channel, bro. This is not that channel. Not right here. I get it, man. That's probably what you've been seeing all your life. And you've been somehow indoctrinated and you got this Negropean mindset and don't realize that you're the worst thing to black people. It's just like when people try to talk to me about the Bible. King James wrote 2 books. He wrote the King James version of the Bible, and he also wrote demonology. Go look it up. Don't take my word for it. Why would a man that's so ingrained in Bible write demonology? Why? You guys made a choice to follow this stuff, bro. LA produced it, put it out there, created it, but you guys made the choice to follow it. Why? I like the Harlem Renaissance. I like the 5%. I like the earths and the gods and the planets and all that. I like knowledge of self. Know thyself. I don't want you guys, if you guys have the knowledge of self, why you guys reduce yourselves to Crips and Bloods? Why? How did that help the black community? How? Man, I do not care. Fort Worth or Florida is more dangerous. That's fine. If that's where you at, bro. You got it. Man, we really jacked up as a people. If that's the best you can do. You're not talking about doctors. You're not talking about engineers. You're not talking about how do we better our community, how we change the ideology of today's youth. They're thinking because they follow trends and who they like. They're the keyboard gangsters. When they putting flock cameras everywhere, they got ODIC, on device the interception tools. These governments are doing all these different things to capture you and put you in a database. And then you're gonna realize at some point, if you're not in the system and you're not being productive, you're not working in a system that is going with the way or one world order, then you become part of the inmate, the people that's non-productive, people that doesn't belong in a progressive society. They're gonna find a way to eradicate you, bro. Just based on your thinking. That's what it's going towards to. That's why, you know, you think Donald Trump is erasing all black history and all that stuff out of these museums and archives and all that. You think that's all for nothing? You think he's the only one that's involved in that? That is an agenda. We're going back. There's nothing new under the sun. Just that's what happened during the Dark Ages. When all the libraries and the Timbuktus and different monuments, and they was breaking off noses off of Sphinx and stuff because they wanted to eradicate and change that history. That's why you see the Bible. They got Tom, they got Mark, Timothy, Luke, John, all European names from a region of where a book come from. They couldn't have possibly been the names of the people. Couldn't have possibly been their names. But you get people like yourself who don't know no better, obviously, and you're not looking to be better. And maybe we can't learn you something. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to learn. Maybe you okay where you at. I don't know. I don't take my word as MFers and down. Yeah, I guess maybe he's going with that. That's where he's at, you know. Is this live stream reacting to Percy? He's only 50 years old, man. He's a kid, yeah, compared to me, he's a kid. That would make him 16 years younger than me. Yeah, but so, you know, to me, it's just right in the nation. I have a right to speak in the terms of speaking. I'm not gonna curse nobody out. I'm not gonna call nobody out their name, none of that. I'm gonna find a way to address it in a way that is I could tell you to go to H in a way that where you won't even know it, but you will enjoy it. Yeah, yeah. Simple as that. That's it. You will enjoy the ride. Percy is just a drug addict. I believe that, you know what I mean? Because I looked at how fidgety he was in his behavior in the actual film or the video, you know, with real tunes. But anyway, guys, it's been a great moment. Once again, we shared a good time together. I appreciate each and every last one of you. I am Professor Melly, Mail the Hood Postman. But before you go, guys, click the notification bell, share the channel, and subscribe to the channel. It's simple as that. Let's get it out, man, because the more inspired I am, the more beneficial it would be to you guys, because I will go do the research. Anything you guys want me to research or want me to commentate on, you guys welcome to send me emails or go to the Hood Postman Instagram, drop me comments over there. The Hood Postman on Instagram. That's DAHOODPOSTMAN on Instagram. And I'm Melly Gibson on Facebook. Send me a message. If you got a clip you want me to react to, we're going to start getting into a little more stuff versus just, talking about people that's out here doing great harm to other black people and put it under the title of glorification or something, or they feel good about it, comfortable about it. I don't know. But anyway, once again, I am Professor Mel, the Hood Postman. And here's the game. Before we go, let me give you this right here.
If it don't apply, let it fly. But this message to the tough niggas, to the killers, the knockout artists, the squabblers, the niggas with the bullshit, the shot callers, the niggas that call the meetings, the niggas that know how to politic, the niggas that been to the pen. What's up with you niggas, man? Why is a lot of shit that nigga, if you solid, you solid. Everybody know you solid. What's up with you niggas in 2024 that are grown men, that have families, that have kids, that got grandkids, even the ones that are incarcerated, that are planning home, coming home and driving a truck or doing the right thing and getting the construction field. So why do y'all always talk about, we gonna have a paperwork party? When the last time you niggas killed the snitch, nigga?
Lock the door.
Lock the door. Lock the door.
Cali Finest, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money. Got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga. Streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products to the fans get me. It's guap off top. Diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a broke bitch the time of day. They see me climbing. They see me shining. That's hard work. Proof of grinding. New money got me tipping in that 550. I lead bad man and I'm so pretty. I got that tech with me. That's my hater sprayer. Go big, grind now, nigga, play later. What can I say? I'm addicted to this paper stacking. And I don't talk about it. I just make it happen. Word on the block is that my shit go. Reach for the low.
Lock the door. Marlena Williams, lock the door, because we go on today, Marlena. It's been a rough day. Talk to you soon, Marlena. Salute to God's property and everybody that's joined us. Appreciate each and every last one of you. Amazing group of people. Continue to be good, be safe, most of all, be well. Increase in intellect, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Purify your heart and purify your mind. With that being said, salute. I'm out.